Hi, my name is Alexey, and in this video I want to share you one approach I'm using if I have some interesting reference and I want to check how it was done. It's not 100% accurate and precise, but to show you that this method can be used if you want to practice and to explore the lighting based on someone's work. It's a beautiful work of Thomas Apathy. And I really like how he set up everything. So we have some light going from the behind, some gobble from the side, and I think maybe something else because we have blownouts here, and here. What should we do at the beginning? We can use camera calibrator, loading image in the background, and set up the resolution close to the image. Then we go back to mode scene color management, or Ctrl D, set up to raw, and calibrate the camera. You can use grids, you can use lines, or you can use your eye. For example, it's clearly see that we have straight vertical lines and almost no distortion in horizontal lines. So it means that we have a big focal length, but we can try to create the scene. Shift click for X, shift click for Y, and red for X, green for Y, and Z for blue, or blue for Z. Add line here, maybe this guide, kind of like this, and add maybe a grid to this furniture. This is approximately method of getting information. And I think we have 6. You see, it's wrong. It can't be width. I guess it should be something else. Yeah, we have some solve. And maybe we add line or horizontal. I think kind of like this. Here should be X. Checking 46. Yes, maybe this could be more precise. Checking 50. 50 looks good. And one thing, so we can add pin here. It would be our ground level. Like this, and check what we get here. And sometimes you can get very different results. For this thing, I have 50 and without any film offset. But when I was recreating scene before, I got 110 in focal length. And let me show you that if we add one more line, Shift X, it could not improve, but ruin everything we were doing before. That's why you need to check and to understand where to stop. So 50 was okay. Let's try help with the Z. Solved. Checking camera 115. Really okay. And then based on this, and we have some offsets and etc. I click to create one more camera with the same setup, and I want to decrease everything rotation, the 0 here, only offset in Z, and decreasing everything offset in other direction. So I have perfect forward-looking camera, and then I can play and recreating the scene. To help and to assist, I go into tag if you're using tag, or if you have the Redshift camera, there should be background, going to override and enabled. And here's my scene. Edit preference, going to renderer, Redshift, and here native camera for new scenes. I disable this because I get used to work with the tag. And now you see that we have some block here, and I want to align it as it in reference. We can use offset here, just a bit. And then, for example, duplicate and create other stairs. And here I see some problem because I don't see that part of the body. And here in the reference image, we see the top polygon. So instead of working with film offset, I put my camera below and maybe rotate it, or maybe going up a bit and add small angle. And then I need to recreate other scene based on the proportion. So something went to the back, it's too much, maybe like this. Then plane, it would be our window, adding atom array like this. Now it works, and we match sphere radius with cylinder radius, and then we can adjust this thing or play with the scale. I think it should be kind of like this, maybe the size, voila, and etc, etc. So I have pre-made scene with the same approach, but with this I got 110 focal length and a little bit film offset. And I need to understand what lights were used. Going to see the reference image, something going from the right, from the behind, and some gobo light. Adding gobo, going outside of the camera, like this. Then we can add some dome light, and immediately we have a lot of extra light. It's pretty dark HDRI, but if we add 10 or maybe 5 in exposure, we see that we have light that we shouldn't get in a room. That's why, or in this case, you can add walls that create a proper light bouncing. Also, I have a plane here with a displacer, with a noise, low value in height, and extra value in X in relative scale. It depends on your certain situation, but for this particular scene, adding walls will decrease this extra GI bounce. Going back. So something small, and we have gobo light here, but we see that it seems like there should be more light in the scene because this wall should be white. And I add one more side light. It's just a normal area light, maybe with decrease in spread to focus the strength of the light. Because if I add extra spread as a default, let me go here, it should be very soft, and I would like to add more exposure here, more directly oriented light. These curtains are from Asset Browser or maybe from GSG. It's okay to use Asset, or you can use the cloth to simulate. And other things here, so side light is pretty solid. Let me decrease it. And to increase and to amplify the dome light, we have portal light, back window. What is this? This is a special light, portal light. Let me disable all other things except dome light. And it amplifies the strength of dome light. I put it in the middle of the room, and you see this light line. So it's easy to combine the all rays going from dome light and amplifies it and launch directly to the window. We can decrease exposure, play with intensity or add extra, and you see that without portal light we don't have strong speculars on our spheres. It amplifies it. Of course, you can play with the value, and then we're going back and adding gobo light and fill light from the side. Then you can play with intensity. Maybe it's too much, like this. And going back to our reference image, And of course, you can say that, oh, that's a poor copy, and it was not the aim because we don't know the exact setup of the lights, but we're pretty close. We have global light hitting the sphere, hitting the furniture, and creating some blownouts here. Also, we have light here, and the more precise you would be, the more closer you will get your result to the reference image. This is a technical video. This is an approach. And also you can try to build it by your eye, so set up some focal length, about 100, maybe 200, and try to recreate and rebuild based on some image. For example, you can create a box with the shape of this furniture and starting to build the scene based on this element. But camera calibrator sometimes works very good and very fast. So we have the understanding how light could be set up in this scene, and if we will have a task from the client, we won't be confused with this because we have some understanding of how it should work. Then you can work, of course, with color controls, maybe to add some contrast and etc. Immediately we have more vibrant colors. This is one of the approaches that we can use to explore or try to guess how the original light setup was made. Thank you for your attention and have a nice day.